I lived in Chicago for decades, and there was not a single election that came by that there weren't reports that dead people voted. And the funny thing was, they always voted for Democrats. Never quite got that. So this year we have that, but we also have this incredible number of mail-in paper ballots. And so we've got all kinds of accusations going back and forth. You know, the Democrats look at Republicans and say they're guilty of voter suppression, trying to keep people from voting. And then Republicans look at Democrats and say they're guilty of voter fraud. You know, getting anybody to vote dead or otherwise just so they'll vote Democrat. And it is true. They estimate that about 80% of the mail-in ballots were voting for Democrats. I mean, that's pretty incredible. Here's the deal, though. You add up all the voter suppression, the fraud, whatever else you can find. Honestly, there's not going to be enough to change the election. That stuff's going to be there, especially in the local precincts, but there's not enough. And so Trump has the right to go to the courts. It's not going to change the outcome. However, I would like to ask the question, do we not want a very solid system of voting that has integrity to it and that guarantees the greatest chance that your vote is counted in the way that you desire? If you really believe that, we got to get rid of these paper ballots. Come on, people. Are we completely idiots? It doesn't matter that they voted Democrat. Listen, they estimate that 80 million people voted by mail. And Democrats, I have to give you credit. Democrats, Biden and others were out there saying to their people, vote by mail. You know, you don't want to show up because of COVID and other reasons. Whereas Trump and his people were saying, no, never mind the COVID, go ahead and show up. Listen, the Democrats won that battle. And the fact that so many sent in the paper ballots probably gave Biden the victory. And again, I don't think there was that much fraud, but let me tell you what there was. And this hurt the Democrats more than Republicans. They say that upwards of near 1% of all the mail-in ballots were discarded and disqualified, thrown away and not counted. That's like 800,000 people did not have their vote counted. Who's not going to be upset with that? But nobody's saying anything about that. And listen, there's so much human error, both on the side of the voter. I mean, imagine the people who's filling out the paper ballot with an ink pen. Maybe the kitchen table is damp. By the time they get it in the envelope, you know, the ink is spread all over the place. It gets to the place where the people are counting, and they got to throw it away because they can't make it out. Then there's just the human error on the side of those who are counting. They come to work tired or whatever other reason, and they make mistakes, especially when they got to make some subjective judgments. You know what the answer is? You want to eliminate most of voter suppression, voter fraud, and make sure that everybody's vote counts? Good Lord, people, move to online voting now.